There's no way the front office is sold on Jalen. You hear every media person that covers the team. They make the same comments we all have made. It's up to Jalen, do we not agree, in 2022 to erase that mentality that those two first rounders are earmarked for a quarterback? National Football Show, it's your boy Big Silz. Man, the NFL and football and sports right now, there is no other reality show in America that can touch it. It really isn't, man. I mean, NBA, NHL, the NFL, the storylines that are going around now, the Philadelphia Eagles, other places, OTAs are going on. It is nothing like this time of the year. You know, you always hear other people saying this, this is kind of like the downtime. There's no such thing any longer as downtime when it comes to the NFL, is there? Right? I was watching the press conference today, for that matter, with the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, real quick, Seth Joyner will join us at the bottom of the hour. We will talk to our friend, get his spin on what he has seen this offseason for the Eagles. Also, Jonathan Gannon spoke today, and they're saying that they're going to open it up more. They're saying that they're going to gamble more. They're saying all the right things. But no question, here on May 24th, everybody could say those things. And it's easy to say that now. So we'll talk to Seth Joyner. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. Okay, let me ask you this right now here. Do you think that those two first-round draft choices in 2023 for the Eagles are earmarked for a quarterback as of today? Yes or no? I thought about that. There's no way the front office is sold on Jalen. You hear every media person that covers the team. They make the same comments we all have made. It's up to Jalen, do we not agree, in 2022 to erase that mentality that those two first rounders are earmarked for a quarterback? Whether it be a veteran quarterback, whether it be one of the 7 kids who are going to go in the first round. Do we sit here today, and by the way, this is not an indictment or a conversation today about Jalen and what he has to do. We've already gone over that numerous times. I'm asking, as of today, are those two first rounders right now positioned not for a corner, not for a safety, not for a running back, but do you think that they are earmarked for a quarterback in next year's draft? I happen to think they are. I think the play of Jalen has to erase that mentality, because right now, would we not say this, okay? Would we not say this? That they're probably 50% sold on Jalen. They're probably right down the middle right now. That's why he got this extra year here. And again, no conversations on what he has to do to keep. I want to know what they're thinking today, not in September. Okay? I think they are. I think those two draft choices, those first rounders, I think they're earmarked for a type of quarterback that Howie and the owner want. And if Jalen can't deliver it, by the way, every single thing is set up right now for his success. They got the $100 million wideout. They drafted a kid in the first round a year ago. They got a tight end who's going to be successful. They've got a dominant and powerful running game. Zach says no doubt. Ernest says no doubt. Even Chris, yeah. I think they're thinking quarterback with those first rounders. They could package them up, move up into the first round. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes. Good. We're all in agreement here. Barring a Super Bowl win, Chris, I say barring getting to the Super Bowl, I think if Jalen Hurts gets that team to the Super Bowl, I think the Eagles are going to be put in an even bigger position where they'll have to make a decision. Okay? The more he wins, the tougher the decision's going to be. Because all of us believe right now, right, that today, those 2 first-rounders are earmarked for a quarterback. I just wanted to get that out there. That all the things that we're saying and all the great stuff that we're talking about with this football team, there is no doubt that the future right now, they're looking at the present, evaluating the present. They're looking at everything on the team. They're looking at the coaches. Right, Zach? They're probably like this. Hey, man, I'm comfortable going into this year with Jalen Hurts as my quarterback because let's just be candid. If they didn't get Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, they were not going to bring in some guy who was just an average dude to kind of be in the middle of the pack. This is why Seattle hasn't signed Baker Mayfield. Why would Seattle want to sign Baker Mayfield? To be kind of good? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Miguel. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Thank you so much. Why? Seattle doesn't want to bring in a good quarterback. That's why Drew Lock and Geno Smith are up there. They're going to go with what they have so they can get into next year's draft. Right? So, to me, they're giving Jalen an opportunity, but Jalen, to me, has to do this. They have to, without a doubt, okay, have Jalen Hurts change their mind. I believe that they're sold they're going to go get a quarterback next year. It's up to Jalen's play to erase that. Very cool, Miguel. Thank you so much for being a new member to come over to our show. We really appreciate it. That is so dope of you to do that, man. And we thank you so much. All right. We're also going to hit on 5 burning questions for the NFC East. Also, do you think A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are a good match? I'll explain. Hit that like button again. Don't forget, we have our friend Seth Joyner joining us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour here. Okay. 5 burning questions. 5 burning questions for the NFC East. Let's get to them. I think everyone knows what the Eagles' situation is. Do they have the quarterback? Yes or no? There is no other question that football team has to answer than that one. It's been a 3-year running debate since Carson Wentz and now Jalen Hurts. Do we agree? The storyline and one of the 5 burning questions in the NFC East has to be whether or not the Eagles have their guy. Yes or no? Right? That's the Eagles. Cowboys. What would you think would be their main theme going into this 2022 season? I'd say this: can Mike McCarthy survive? Will this be the swan song for Mike McCarthy? How many years are you going to keep going along and putting along with Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, 9 wins, 10 wins, 11 wins, and you get bounced in the opening round of your playoffs? It's not that it matters. You know, you could also put this out there for the Cowboys. Is Dak really the guy? What do you think is a bigger burning question in the NFC East? If Mike McCarthy is in his last year as a head coach, or if Dak is really the guy? Which one is more of a burning question in Dallas? I think Mike McCarthy, it really doesn't matter who the head coach is if you're in Dallas, because Jerry Jones runs the team through his puppet coach. I mean, look, Mike McCarthy is not even the play caller. It's Kellen Moore. And they kept Kellen Moore from the previous staff. So to me, again, does it really matter? Dak Prescott may need a better play caller. Would Dak be better with a guy like Sean McVay? Would he? I don't know. I actually last year, even when he got all of his money, I went like this. I don't know. I thought Dak walked back in my eyes. Hey, I like all the intangibles that Dak Prescott brings to a team, the same intangibles that Jalen Hurts brings. Leadership, everyone respects him. Everyone around the league likes him. I'm good with all that. End of the day, though, is he a $45 million a year guy? Will Dan Quinn, who got numerous opportunities to be like a head coach in the NFL and other places, he's very high on Jerry Jones's list. Remember, Dan Quinn took that Falcons team to a Super Bowl. So, I mean, Dallas really has two questions. Is Dak really the guy? And is Mike McCarthy on a respirator as head coach there in Dallas? The Giants. Here's their questions for me. Joe Sharon, who comes over from Buffalo, was a wizard in putting together that roster and really did a great job at accumulating draft choices and really did a nice job for Sean McDermott and all the dudes in Buffalo. They brought a lot of talent. They did a great job in free agency, getting Stephon Diggs in there. They've done a nice job in the draft. They gambled and went out and got Josh Allen, who has panned out big time for them. Hell, even McDermott at some time or another in Buffalo was also a question mark on whether or not he was going to be a good fit there in Buffalo. But he's been a great fit, okay? And now he brings that to the New York Giants. Then you had Brian Daboll. You know, these guys take over for Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge. Is a new regime going to change the direction of the Giants? Because let's be candid here. The Giants over the last 10 years, there's been two things that the New York Giants can't do. You know what that is? They have not been able to develop an O-line or a quarterback. Isn't it funny? Since Eli Manning's retired, the Giants have been chaotic at the quarterback position. And who would have thunk that when you had a guy like Tom Coughlin and Jerry Reese in the building, those two guys had the Giants stable and were perennial playoff teams and won a couple Super Bowls. Those guys did a really nice job at putting talent in the building. And when those two guys have left, the New York Giants have just been chaotic. Will this new regime end up bringing new results? Because the Giants, for a decade, have just been a train wreck. They have been a train wreck. And that organization, it's not so much about the players. Look, they go out, they get Trayvon Thibodeau. They go out and they really do a nice job at going out and getting some other components to try to fill some holes there. They also let James Bradbury go. How do you let that guy go with not getting any compensation whatsoever? You just let him walk out the building. I question that. But that could be a product of the old regime with Dave Gettleman. The Giants really, they've got to hope. And think of this for a second. How many times do you draft like 5 or 6 guys and you're hoping you hit on one? You changed out your GM and your head coach. You know how many times that doesn't happen where you're changing both of those guys? That is a philosophy change. That is a course direction change when you're changing out GM and coach. That's a big deal, dude. And this is going to take some time for the Giants to sit there and think that, you know, this is going to happen here overnight. The Giants have to be patient. They're notoriously known for being patient, okay? But they're going to have to really do their due diligence on this. You change out your GM and head coach, and you're expecting overnight returns, I'd be candidly optimistic that that football team can win 6 games this year. That team wins 6 games, that'd be a hell of a season for a new regime. In Washington, nobody really knows what's going on with the owner. The owner may be ousted. That may have a philosophical change at the head coach, general manager's position, who ends up getting control of the team. The next owners' meetings, supposedly they may be taking a vote to get rid of Daniel Snyder as the owner of the Washington Commanders. So they're in a chaotic state right now. Whether or not that football team could go out, wouldn't it be remarkable if Ron Rivera could go out and win a NFC East with all the turmoil going on above them. You know, all that stuff trickles down. And it's trickled down. And did you see what they did today? So Daniel Snyder went out and purchased a piece of land for $100 million because you know what he's going to do? He's going to go to his fan base, what fan base he has, and he's going to start petitioning for a new stadium. If there is an owner in NFL history that does not deserve economic relief from its fan base, it is the Washington Commanders. Why in the world would the Washington city officials and the DC officials award that guy any kind of financial compensation to bring a new stadium into an arena or into an area where they could build it? Why in the world would they do that? You have been a train wreck of an owner. You have alienated the fan base. You have shit on what was a great franchise, and it's been a laughingstock. The Washington Commanders are the laughingstock, okay? Are the laughingstock of the NFL. Just a laughingstock. We'll see what happens there. So the question would be for me, though, this is the last dance for Carson Wentz. This is their storyline. I'm putting storylines together for the teams in the NFC East. So you're to figure out if Jalen Hurts is the guy. We've all already agreed that those 2 first-rounders at 2023 are earmarked for a quarterback. Unless Jalen can prove otherwise, they're going to go get one. In Dallas, it's the coach. Is this Mike McCarthy's last go-around? Is he on the hot seat? He's got to be. You can't get bounced in the opening round with a payroll like that. You can't. The Giants, brand new regime. Will it turn around and turn the fortunes around of the Giants? And in Washington, it's got to be Carson Wentz's last dance. Carson Wentz is not going to get, and know this, think about where we are here with this. With Carson Wentz, Washington traded assets away to get him. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 player selected overall 4 years ago. And the Browns, or I should say, when it comes to Baker Mayfield, the clowns really don't know what they're doing with him or how to handle this situation. You know where they effed up? And I'll tell you what the Giants did. They took a page out of the clowns and said this: we're not going to pick up that 5th-year option and be caught in a position like the Browns are right now with Baker Mayfield, where we owe him $18 million. Did you see what they said today? The Browns are going to pick up $10 million of it, and they'll move him. The clowns are trying to save face for taking him number 1 overall instead of just cutting your losses. Okay, $18 million is on my cap. I'm going to eat this thing here, and you blow them out. Get them off the roster. They're going to OTAs this week. Okay? Why have that distraction in your locker room? It makes no sense to have that distraction. They gave up assets for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has got to show he's still a franchise-type guy, and he's still got upside. Okay? And it was unfortunate circumstances in Philly, and I'm not siding on that. I'm saying that the perception out there is that Philly fell apart. And you know what Wentz can always lean on? You fired Doug Peterson too. Okay? You fired a Super Bowl coach. Then you got rid of me. Okay? They wanted the whole thing blown up. The stuff in Indianapolis, I'm not getting that. Jim Irsay had a cow with the way the season ended, and there is no question that Chris Ballard and the head coach, I don't really think, wanted to get rid of Carson Wentz. They gave up a first-round draft choice for him. They didn't want to get rid of him. What general manager in his right mind is going to trade away a guy they traded for a first-round contingent pick and then turn around and get 3s for him? That's an L for the front office and the coach. Jim Irsay, in my opinion, has put Frank Reich and Chris Ballard on the hot seat. This thing here with Matt Ryan has to work. Also, they bring in Nick Foles. This is Jim Irsay at work here. You two dudes better deliver us a postseason, and we better win a game in the postseason. So Carson Wentz has a lot to prove here this year. Of all the quarterbacks in the NFC East, Jalen Hurts and his job position with the Eagles, Carson Wentz with his job position in the NFL, perception with Dak. The Giants are a headless horseman. They don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. Okay? I mean, end of the day, you got a lot of question marks going into the 2022 September season start for all these teams. And the most stable has to be the Eagles. Right? Look, we have question marks on Jalen Hurts. But we don't have the question marks on Jalen Hurts like we do Carson Wentz has on his resume. Leadership, blowing up in big games. Okay? We got really fundamental issues that we're talking with Jalen. Can he get more accurate? Can he utilize the weapons around him? Will he be a guy that's going to be able to move the chains through the air instead of running the football? Okay? I mean, all of that has to play itself out yet. But he doesn't have the question marks. Can you imagine this? Hey, can Jalen become more accurate this year? Okay, fair enough. He's a young quarterback. Here's the question marks with Carson Wentz. Can he lead? Can he not get frustrated? Can he not have one of those games where he just blows the season up like he did against the Titans and Jaguars last year? Two horrible moments for him were last year. So those are your storylines. As we sit here on May 24th for the NFC and the NFC East, I should say, I think the Eagles are probably, of all the teams that I mentioned, the most stable team. Ownership is a problem in Washington, even though they have Ron Rivera. There's some good talent there. The Cowboys, with the meddling of the owner. Is Dak the guy? Overpaid Zeke? You know Zeke Elliott's going to be the highest paid running back in the NFL this year, and he has an average 70 yards a game, and I can't remember how long. Ezekiel Elliott is the highest paid running back in the NFL. Wow. Right there in a nutshell is a prime example of what's wrong in Dallas. Jerry likes rewarding himself and the player if the guy turns out to be decent. Jerry gives these contracts because it's a reflection on him. You know that Jalen Smith deal he gave himself and Jalen? He thought he found a superstar linebacker who was injured at Notre Dame in the latter rounds, and he thought he was a stud. Turned out he wasn't really all that much. But Jerry gave him a big contract, had to eat that thing. That's the problem in Dallas. Jerry rewards the players because it's a reflection on him, because he's the guy pulling the trigger on the draft. Okay? Man, I can't believe it too, dude. Make no mistake about it, okay? Make no mistake about it. Those are your burning questions. Also, I want to hit on Jalen and A.J. Brown. Seth Joyner's going to join us. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.